In the past few weeks, I've made a number of videos about the serial dishonesty of this government, and particularly of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The videos highlight misleading and dishonest claims on economic growth, falling debt, immigration and asylum decisions. There are so many examples, but these are the most recent I've picked up in my videos. This time, the dishonesty has arisen around poverty. Last week in Prime Minister's Questions, Sunak was asked about the latest Rowntree Foundation Poverty 2024 report, particularly in relation to children. In his answer, he said, "Poverty is falling in our country. There are 1.7 million fewer people in poverty than in 2010, including hundreds of thousands of children." Now, this statement is in fact true. You would think that Sunak is giving us good news about poverty. However, just taking the headline conclusions from the Rowntree Foundation's report, it states that there are unacceptably high levels of overall poverty, including appalling levels for many groups. Since our last report was published a year ago, we've seen more and more evidence of the desperate measures that households struggling to make ends meet are having to take. So something is wrong here. These two statements seem to be in conflict with each other. However, both are factually true. I've done a separate video on the devastating facts that the Rowntree report provides on poverty. We do have a poverty crisis in the UK, but I can show how the conflicting statements above can be reconciled. Now, I've spent quite a bit of time grappling with the poverty statistics published by the Department for Work and Pensions. There are multiple indicators of poverty, and understanding how they relate to each other is complex. I've got decades of experience working with government statistics, and it's not been straightforward trying to clarify exactly what the truth is here. So this extract from a House of Commons Library research briefing provides us with 4 of the main poverty indicators that the DWP produces. So effectively, Sunak's statement was based on an absolute low income after housing costs, the top line. And we can see that based on this indicator, poverty has indeed fallen over the past decade. However, when we look at relative low income after housing costs, we see that poverty has stayed relatively flat over the same period. There definitely has not been a decrease. So the question is whether it's okay that Sunak made his statement based on the upper graph. And the answer to this is absolutely not. It's completely dishonest. The Rowntree Foundation poverty work is credible and respected analysis. They use the relative low-income data for their headline figures. It's not to say that the data in the upper graph has no merit. It could be productive to compare and contrast the different data sets in order to have a sophisticated understanding of what's going on. However, to just pluck one of these data sets to imply that poverty is unambiguously being improved is absolutely dishonest and very misleading. As I discuss in the other video on poverty, there's abundant evidence that a very substantial proportion of the UK population, 22%, is currently living in poverty. Some of those are in very deep poverty, 6 million people. Some of those are destitute, 3.8 million people. For the 22% of the UK population that are living in poverty, more than 1 in 5 people, Sunak's statement is misleading and dishonest, pure gaslighting. One final comment. In Sunak's answer from PMQs last week, quoted earlier, he also said the following: "There is more to do to make sure children do not grow up in poverty, but that would absolutely not be helped by Labour's £28 billion tax grab on their parents, which would take money out of their family's bank account." This is just outright untrue. First, Labour hasn't said that it will increase taxes to pay for this. In fact, they've implied the opposite. Second, most, if not all, people in poverty will be paying 0 or very small amounts of tax. So this is just another outright lie. We deserve so much better from our politicians. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.